I am not. Oh.
Yeah. H dollar sign H. H stands for nigga. It's me, it's me. Now she wanna kiss me. Never ever felt so you ain't gotta fix me. Stevie G, stupid nigga, biscuit from his stick me. Mr. Hit a phone, nigga, now he just a pipsqueak. Mr. Hit a phone, nigga, now he just a toddler. You are hip hoppers, I am your father. You got a problem, I am your doctor. You ride a pop up, you see a monster. And I am a mess, call me Dash D Cadet, here to serve and protect. Oh, and do not forget, I will murder your flesh, beat it over again, then murder your best friend. Put it in the air, keep it face down, that's for your underwear. And if friends wanna join, you can meet me under there, cause I might go down if there's clean up under there. Hey, girl, you nasty. Girl, you nasty. Now she wanna lick me